What's up, fellas? Your boy Dark Cal coming to another informative video, man. I'm in my whip right now in the car. I'm heading back to Orlando from Tampa. Was there this morning to pick up a new power steering gearbox. Well, rebuilt. And that's what we're about to get into. That's where the informative video starts. Before we get started, let me show you guys a card. This place is called Steering Repair Solutions Inc. And they saved my butt, but they saved me so much money. So let's get into the story and the informative part of it and everything. So, about a month and a half ago, the 2000 Century that I had, that I sold to my homeboy, we had to repair the power steering gearbox on it. It was leaking, it was making noise. His steering never got hard, but it was just leaking fluid. He had to be putting fluid in it. It was about $867 out the door at the Freightliner dealer, and it had to be shipped. It was like a 4-day shipping. When it got there, the first time they sent the wrong one, 5 more days for the other one to come back. It was about almost 11 days down, including install and everything. That sucked. Okay, so boom. So you guys already know my 99 Century. If you guys watch my previous videos, I've been having an issue with the steering, and I put the truck back in the shop because I'm about to hit the road where I had the AC evaporator, service. Now the AC is blowing hard. So I bought a power steering pump, not the gearbox. I bought the power steering pump because my gearbox on my 99 Century, the mechanic's like, we don't think that's what it is because they usually leak or make noise. There was no noise, there was no leak. So he's like, it's part of your power steering pump. Those things are hard to diagnose. So anyway, I ordered the power steering pump at the Freightliner dealer. It was about $567. It was like $620 something out the door. It was the wrong part because the Cummins M14 on the older trucks are actually Volvo parts. The hydraulic pumps, like the fuel pump and the oil pump and the power steering pump. Now it could be different for other Cummins, but at least for mine's, the black one and the 2009, they were Volvo parts, and that's good. Those parts must be good because those were for 99. Good parts. So anyway, ended up getting it from the Volvo, the same exact price. The Freightliner had it for the same price. It came out to like $624 out the door. Boom, we put that in there, and then we put I also bought the filter. Guys, remember, if you're changing a power steering pump or a power steering gearbox, buy the filter that goes inside of the power steering reservoir where the fluid goes, because that needs to be changed out. I did not know that. So anyway, okay, so we put the new pump in there and the filter, and no change. The power steering is still doing the same thing. When you turn to the left, it's kind of smooth. So when you start turning to the right, it gets stuck in certain spots. It's hard. Okay, so I started watching videos, and I saw a dude that had an issue, and all he had to change was these little cross joints that go on the U joints of the steering shaft. And here's the part number right here. There it is right there. You pick these up at the Freightliner dealer. They're about $60 a piece. If you have a Columbia or a Freightliner Century, you have 2 of them. You have one right where it connects, the U joint that connects to the power steering gearbox. Then you have one on the top. So I bought 2 of them just in case. I'm like, you know what? Power steering gearbox is so expensive. Let me try this and see if that's a problem, because again, my power steering gearbox is not making noise or leaking. Okay, I buy them, I go over there. The mechanic removes the power steering, he removes the steering shaft off the gearbox, and he checks the joints. Guess what? The joints are perfectly fine. Those things are supposed to go up, down, left, right. They're working perfectly fine. They even looped and everything. So he's like, bro, that's not your problem. Your problem is going to be your gearbox. And that even the mechanic's like, usually they leak or make noise, but this one, your bearing, something inside is not right because your gearbox has to be the problem. So we do the test in the gearbox. When he does the test, how he does it. So what he does, he gets some vice grips, like those pliers, not the real small ones. Because the shaft, the nipple of the shaft, where the shaft, steering shaft connects to on the power steering gearbox, it's pretty big. It's about 1.5 inches. So you get one of the bigger size vice grips. You clamp it on there with the truck on, and then you remove the shaft off the power steering gearbox. Put your vice grips on the nipple. Make sure all your hoses, your hydraulic lines, everything is connected. And then you just turn the wheels as if it was a steering wheel. You're turning it with the plier. So when he turns it to the left, he can literally turn it with the 2 fingers. He was turning it, and you see the wheels of the truck turn all the way. He's just turning it to the right, and it starts to, you can do it, but you can see he has to grab it to turn it. So it's getting stuck. So if we would have done that test from the get, then boom, we would have known from the get. But like I said, he didn't want to take all that apart because it wasn't leaking or making noise. So we're going by steps. So that's what it is. So okay, so we find out it's bad. So I'm like, shit, now I gotta call the Freightliner dealer. And I do have a power steering gearbox in Fort Pierce, but it's mounted on the Columbia that my uncle has there that he's parting out. So I will have to drive down to Fort Pierce, remove that gearbox off there, which is a bitch, and then drive back up and get it done. And it's a used part, and it's a gamble. We don't even know if that has any issues. But I do have one. And I also know there's a place down in Hialeah, down south in Miami, Hialeah area, where there's some Cubans down there. They rebuild them on the spot. You can either bring yours, they'll rebuild them on the spot in a couple of hours, or you can drop yours and then buy one of their rebuilt ones. Done. Now, you know your boy Doc Kel is all for, Freightliner parts. But this is the thing. So I call it, even though I know all these options, I can go down Miami, I call a Freightliner dealer. I call Freightliner dealer, they tell me the price, because I say, hey, I need another one of those. I bought one before, 5 days out. I'm like, damn, I can't really wait that long. I'm gonna have to drive the truck later. He's like, oh, well, let me call some people that I know in Tampa that are like he said generic brand. So guys, remember, these older trucks, when you're buying parts like the power steering gearbox, and sometimes a lot of starters, you know what I'm saying? If you want the original starters, they're gonna be remanufactured. That means that they're sending parts that were brought into some warehouse where they're getting rebuilt and sent back. So I'm all for new parts because you spend a little more, but you get OEM parts. But there are some parts like the gearbox and starters and alternators, you can get those things rebuilt because that's what they're doing anyway. But anyway, let's get to it. So that happened. So I call my uncle just recently, I say, hey, let me get the number to the place down in Hialeah that has a part. At this point, I'm like 800 and something bucks. I'll just drive down to Miami. It's a 4-hour drive, and I'll go pick one up, and that's it. Cause I know they sell them for like $3 something down there. So he doesn't know the number. He tells me the name. They call. He says power steering repair or something, but it was actually called Steering Repair Solutions. Again, here's the card right here. Steering Repair Solutions. So I looked them up on Google, get their number, call them up, and they tell me, hey, look, I told them I'm in Orlando. Like, hey, we got one in Tampa. They got an office in Tampa, and I'm like, get out of here. So I'm like, okay. So I get the number to the Tampa office, and I call them. I talk to them. I give them the truck, 99 Century. I show them, the part number of the gear, power steering gearbox. They wanted a picture. I sent it to them. They tell me we got plenty of those on the shelf. I'm like, perfect. I want one. How much? They're telling me $380 plus tax. I was like, hell yes. I'll buy it right now. If your boy don't credit, I pay for it over the phone because I wanted to secure it. They're like, oh, don't worry, we have plans. I said, it don't matter. I bought it. That's how I roll. I bought it. I secured it. So, okay, so then 30 minutes after I got the phone, Freightliner calls me back, tells me, hey, my people in Tampa, they got one, and we can have it here in the morning for you. And I'm like, okay, how much is it? Because he says generic. And he's like, $780. $780. Now, remember, they just quoted me $380. $780. And I told him, you know what? I say, yo, Shane, check out, I'm saying? I found a used one. Thank you for everything, but I'm good. Okay, just let me know if you need it. Okay, boom. I was like to myself, I know they didn't just try to sell me the same part for $400. So I called back and I asked them, I said, hey, look, man, I'm the guy that just bought that pump. Did the Freightliner dealer just call you? And they told me yes. So I started feeling some kind of way, like, damn, man, as much business as I've been giving the Freightliner dealers, and I'm not trying to knock it, I get it. You got to make your money because they got to ship it down here and everything. But, they would have told me $600. Okay, fine. You're making, you're going to make yourself a little $220 or something on there. I get it, because remember, on top of the $780, you're going to want to charge me tax. We're going to be talking about $800 and something bucks. So I'm feeling some kind of, I'm like, damn, I give these people so much business and they're trying to get me. That shit's not even cool. Whatever. Okay, whatever. Boom. And, it is what it is. It's a deal. At the end of the day, it's a deal. That's the thing. When you go to a dealer, you are going to pay more price. So anyway, I drive up, I picked it up, and I get there. I didn't even I open my trunk. They come, they grab out the trunk. They bring me the one, put it right in my thing. It's the same exact one. It's nicely painted. You can tell people sandblasted and repainted. It looks new. It looks like a new part. Yeah, all the inner components are new. But to my surprise, to see the shelf, they got all these different styles of power steering gearboxes. And then on the top shelf is full of power steering pumps. And I'm like, you guys rebuild those too? And he was like, yes. And I was like, man, I just bought one, fucking 500 something. I was like, how much is one for my truck? He told me $250. So guys, this is an informative video. If you guys are in the Florida area or even outside of Florida, call these people up. Steering Repair Solutions, INC. Just look them up on Google, and you can save a lot of money. I think they'll ship out to you as well. So you know, don't settle for, you know, if I would have just settled for what the Freightliner was selling me, I would have been down for 5 days, you know, waiting. I ended up getting the part out the door for $408. I got it in the back. We're gonna go install it. Again, remember, I already got a brand new power steering pump. I got the power steering filter for the reservoir. Now I got the power steering gearbox, which I'm gonna just say new, because what they're selling is a reman, which is the same thing that the Freightliner is gonna sell you. Now I know they're there. So if you guys have a power steering pump that's bad, or any hydraulic pump, those people will get it done for you. If you're in the area, you can just drive there. Remember, they got one in Hialeah and one in Tampa, and that's what it is, man. I'm happy the fact that I found that, because I need a break right now, man. I need a break, and I caught a big break. I saved about $400 and something, and gonna go to the shop and get it installed right now and put it in there, man. So that's what it is, guys. You know, again, guys, you know, I'm not trying to knock dealers. You know, your boy Ducker's all for dealer parts, OEM parts, but there are some things that it just makes sense to buy them. They're going to be rebuilding, like steering boxes and freaking alternators and starters, to get the original ones. Like, look, the starter on the Century, I didn't buy the original one. I bought the newer one, and it's a smaller little starter, and the truck's, you know, stalls to start. If I wanted the original starter, it would be reman. So, and there is a place in Orlando called Gilar Starters and Alternator, which they also sell them repair. But anyway, there's some parts that it just makes sense to find them, rebuild. You can get them cheaper, so that's what it is, man. Guys, I hope this video was helpful. Again, remember, Steering Repair Solutions, INC. And I'll just go ahead and give you guys the phone number. It's 813-352-8744. This is the Tampa location. Their address is 2319 South 50th Street, Tampa, Florida, 33619. Right here, baby. Steering Repair Solutions. Guys, check them out. Them people, some good people, and they'll get you rolling. You won't have to wait downtime, and they always got parts. It's your boy Doc Kill with another informative video. I hope it was good. If you like the video, thumbs up. If not, thumbs down. It's all good. It's all love, man. It's all love, man. I'll keep you guys posted once I get it on the truck and we get rolling, and we're gonna be finishing the inside of the Century. And that's what it is, man. It's your boy Doc Kill. Catch you in the next one. Peace.